Okay, been running.
I still got 1 minute here. It's according to my clock. Okay, I guess I'll call the transit meeting for February 10th to order. It's 8 o'clock. Roll call. I think we got, we're missing Richard Johnson, Robin Sweeney, and John Menz. And we got board chair with David Bartlett with us. Approval of minutes.
Move we approve as presented. Second.
The minutes have been approved and seconded. Chuck and Brian. Any discussion on the minutes? See none. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Same sign for opposed. Motion passes. Public hearing none. Items placed. I guess none at this time. We'll go with staff reports. Austin, it's all yours.
Morning, everybody. Okay, I'm able to share my screen. Perfect. All right, a few less slides this time than last time for you. So just a quick recap today of what we did during winter break while it was a little less hectic around here. Talk a little bit about our ride systems, app for community members and Stout students tracking the bus, the 8520 and 5311 grant, ridership that we've had so far, and what we developed for a snowstorm protocol. Winter break recap. We had 3 new marquees. We got them installed. They look good. All the rest of our marquees as well have been updated to a larger font and a shorter message that doesn't scroll. It does show a little bit less information than it did before with used to do the phone number. And it was an extremely long message that unless you're looking at it for about 10 seconds, pretty hard to read. So we went to a shorter message that doesn't scroll, all caps, as big as those marquees can go, and it's a lot easier for everybody to read. And we've got some great feedback from that. Also up in our annex here, I found a big box of the rest of the graphics that the Stout students at some point in the past had developed for us. So there isn't a single bus that we have now that doesn't have some sort of the en route and the Dunn County graphics on it. So instead of a white bus driving through town, we got some graphics on there that look pretty good, and they all match now. So that was good to get on during winter break. Dunnride.com. If any of you aren't familiar with this yet, it's a phone app that is free to the students, free to anybody to download, and it gives you both the community route and the Stout route for when students and community members want to see when the bus is getting to Red Cedar Hall, when it's getting to Walmart, when it's departing. And I wasn't even aware of this until one of our drivers, he's a really techie guy, and he went into this and updated it, updated times and stuff for us. He found a spot where students and anybody who uses this can set an alarm 5 minutes or 10 minutes before the bus is going to come to, for example, Red Cedar Hall. So the student knows it's coming down. It's going to be there at 7:37. They set the alarm for 7:30 and they'll hop on the bus every time on time. So pretty cool, and it's there. We've had it forever, and looking to get better utilization out of it. And we've got better signage in the buses saying this and how it can be used. So that's been good. Previously, all these GPS systems were hardwired into the relays and stuff over top inside the wiring harness of these buses, and they weren't movable. So, I mean, all it was a hot and a cold, and so I rewired it to be the 12-volt cigarette outlet plug. So now they move with the buses instead of us needing 5 of these GPS systems. For example, if a different bus is filling in for another, now just the GPS system itself can be plugged in and put on the dash of the other one. So we only need 3 of them for the 2 routes that they're being used for. So that's been a positive thing as well for us. That community route for the longest time didn't have a GPS system on it because the bus that the GPS was in wasn't getting used. So now every day, all the time, the buses are being tracked. 8520 and the 5311 grant, that's the main operating grant that, and the capital grant where we get new buses, where we get our operating income from Wisconsin DOT. That was completed and is getting signed at 10 o'clock today. Kent Conklin, if you're familiar with him, the previous transit manager here from a few years ago, has came back and helping out about 10 hours a week whenever he's needed to really help out and get these grants where they need to be, get them submitted and get us on track. The 8520 grant and 5311 grant is the main big 50-page one that usually gets done in a few months, and we had to get it done in 2 weeks. So really happy to have that done and getting it sent down the road. Stout route ridership. Stout came back on the 25th of January and has been in session for about 3 weeks now. And the ridership has been great compared to last semester. It is a bit colder now than it was in November and December, but it's nice to see the buses get used. Almost doubling what we did last semester, 180 to about 300 riders a day now. And last semester we were averaging around 100 to 200 during the day shift. And at night right now, we're averaging 30 to 50 riders a night. And last semester was 15 to 30. So great to see that getting used. Snowstorm protocol. This worked last snowstorm. We haven't gotten dumped on a foot in a 10-hour period yet, but this seems to work out pretty well. 3 drivers are in charge of 3 bus stops each. This is something that this is the first year we've had to deal with this compared to previous years when these shelters didn't exist. So without sending myself or our dispatcher out there to cover all 9 of them, the drivers that are already on these routes cover 3 shelters each whenever they have a few minutes here or there on some of these routes. Normally the street sweepers and the sweepers at Stout do a great job, but they can only get so close. So it's not like there's a big mound of snow, but there's a 6-inch to a foot gap where those sweepers can't go. That we have shovels on each of these 3 buses now that take care of that. So that is all I had for presentation today, other than any questions that anybody has for myself or John.
The only question I had is, Kelly brought it up too, is the mask mandate that was approved for public transportation by Biden, I guess. Is there anything special we got to do for that, or how are you handling that?
Our driver's been wearing masks already on the buses at all times when anybody's on the bus. So we already have that in place. So that's where we are on that.
So the riders are all complying with the mask stuff as well, Len?
Yep. And
Great.
Okay, that's good.
We have masks on every one of these buses that we can provide if they don't have their own. But a good rule of thumb is ask them before they get on the bus. And we haven't had any negative feedback from the riders saying, hey, I don't want to put one on or anything like that. So it's been a pretty smooth process. There was a driver that didn't have his on before the student got on the bus, and I talked to all the drivers yesterday about that. It was a complaint that came in on one of the Saturday shifts within the past few weeks, and we talked about it yesterday afternoon.
Okay, great. Yeah, because it's I know when it was purely a county issue, we had discussed it a little bit, but with the CDC order, I wanted to follow up. Thank you.
Are there any other questions or comments for Austin or?
Yeah,
It's been nice to meet.
Austin,
Ken.
how's the,
Oh,
how's the try?
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, how
Rick.
the bus? Yeah, how the bus is doing in the cold weather?
Good. We haven't no gelling up problems yet, but I've been watching our ridership on the Stout PM route really closely, and we've been keeping that gas bus on there as long as we can safely keep the social distancing and capacity, because nighttime is when that sun goes down. That's where it's really dropping in temperature. And those diesel buses, when they go a max of 25 miles an hour on that little figure 8 loop, they're not staying as warm at night. So those gas buses stay just as warm as on a normal day. So that's been working good.
I yield, thank you.
Is there anything else? These meetings are really short all of a sudden. Austin, I just want to say thanks for the presentation. I really enjoy the way you have this thing put together and the information that you give us. It seems like it's condensed and it's easy to understand, and I like the information that you're presenting. So I really do enjoy what you've done. Just let you know that. Otherwise, any other comments or anything else? Yeah, Chuck.
Mr. Chair, yeah, I was just wondering what's the status or an update on the electric bus and the solar and electrical tie-ins and where are we at on that whole project?
John, do you want to? You're muted, John. There we go.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay. We are waiting for MJ Electric to get the chargers. We have the Xcel Energy has a 3-phase power in and the 3-phase transformer set. We have the electrical conduit and conductors run from the 3-phase transformer punched into the building. Now we're just waiting for MJ to get the chargers and then schedule a time to get the chargers installed. And as far as the buses, it sounds like they're still, and I was going to touch base again with Steve Hirschfeld from the DOT. It sounds like the buses are still getting tested at that Altoona site. And that's been kind of hit and miss with being shut down and back to operations due to COVID. So I anticipate, the last I had heard was the earliest we could expect the buses was late April, early May. And I haven't heard an update lately, so I think we will get hold of the DOT and try to find that out. But the way everything is set with the electrical, we anticipate having the chargers installed. The chargers are definitely going to be here before the buses. So as soon as the buses get here, we'll be able to charge them right away.
Okay, thank you.
Can I follow up on that?
Sure.
Yeah, Austin, do you have a plan for what routes those electric buses are going?
Yes. So those are 14-person bus. They're a 12-seat plus 2 wheelchair positions or 2 flip-down seats in the back. But that doesn't include on a normal year when there's standing room as well. But they definitely can't be the main Stout bus, being a 45 passenger or something like that. But I think they would work well as a community bus and as our doorstop buses. But that is something that I think we'll have to play by year a little bit with trial and error because their range is 110 to 130 miles. And both our community and some of our doorstop days, depending on how busy they are right around there. And you factor in cold weather as well. We may be doing hey, you take one electrical bus out in the morning, you bring it back at lunchtime, you charge it, and you take the other one. During the summer, we may be able to make a whole day on one charge. The Stout PM route, it would be really cool if that bus could get incorporated to that, as long as we maintain capacity. And it would easily make the 39 to 42 mile loop that the Stout PM is.
Thank you. I was interested in what you thought where it was going to go. Well, let me know if it goes doorstop because I don't want to get hit at the mailbox because it's so quiet. That goes by my house. So
Sounds good. If there's anything else that anybody would like me to touch on in the future with these meetings, I do try to keep it condensed and go through, stuff that we didn't go through the previous meeting or stuff like that. So if anybody would like me to touch on anything else in future meetings, just feel free to shoot an email or give me a call.
Sounds good. Is there anything else? No, I guess we can adjourn the transit meeting now.